Hey loves, it's me Keisha and I'm here with tonight's All Tea All Shade Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 12 Episode 1 review. The girls are finally back. I have been awaiting this season. Hopefully it delivers what I expect for it to deliver. But before I begin, I want to remind you guys that next week I will be out of town on vacation. So there will be no reviews next week. Just spill the tea and behind the scenes tea videos while I'm away. I won't be back until the following Tuesday. So reviews will resume that Wednesday. Okay, let's start off with the review. So the episode begins with Garcelle and Sutton, my faves. They are in Miami. Sutton is there to support Garcelle at a charity event that she was speaking at or did something at for Haiti or whatever. So, I just love to see the girls together. Sutton and her matchstick legs and Garcelle and all her beauty. They are just a recipe for fun. I loved and obsessed over Garcelle's white confessional look. She has stepped it up from her first season. Because, that first season, her looks was not hitting on nothing. But last season, she stepped it up. But this season, I feel like we're going to get some of the best fashions that we've ever gotten from Garcelle. From the slick flipped ponytail to the white off the shoulder ensemble, the belt, the makeup. She just looked so glamorous and beautiful. I was living. Then we see Lisa Rinna. She's back and she goes over her girlfriend Erica's house. And they're chopping it up for the cameras, chit-chatting or whatever at Erica's new humble abode. And Erica admits that she is back hitting the horizontal mambo since her breakup with Tom, old raggedy ass. So they sit down and they talking, and Lisa brings up Sutton and what Sutton said when she was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen at the time. So Sutton was on Watch What Happens Live, and she brought up the fact that she'd invited Lisa and Harry to an Elton John event, and she had to pay for their seats or whatever. And they never said thank you, nor did they pay for, like I said, their seats there. Now, Lisa said that she was watching the show. She was shocked and appalled. She says that she was the one that actually was invited, that she wasn't invited through Sutton. Now, this is not what she said on the show, but this is what she said in the media and in the press. So we'll see this whole thing play out in, I guess, some point in this season. It's also silly, but Sutton was bringing that up to show that, she didn't say thank you to me, and this was for something way bigger than some goddamn tomato sauce that she gave to Garcelle and wanted a second thank you for. So I appreciate the fact that Sutton put her ass on blast because she deserved it. So Lisa even says to Erica that Sutton brought the shit up to, defend and stick up for Garcelle. I must say that I really did like Lisa's confessional look. Not so much the wig. The wig was giving me very polyester. It didn't look luxurious or anything. The hair, the strands just wasn't silky. It was giving me synthetic. Didn't really care for it. I like the style on her. I think that Lisa looks beautiful with long hair. Just not that wig, girl. You need to get a good wig installment if you're going to be doing these switch ups with your look, girl. So Sutton back in Miami, where Garcelle tells her that she thinks everything is going to be okay between her and Lisa after this. And I'm like, have you met Lisa Rinna? Absolutely, this is not going to be okay. She going to take this shit and run with it. So then back in California with Erica and Lisa, Erica was like, she fucked with the wrong bitch. And Lisa was sitting there like, she sure in the fuck did. So, they cackling like two goddamn hens. I'm just really upset with what Erica has become these last 2 seasons, because I just do not see it for her anymore. And Erica used to be my bitch. I used to go up for Erica, but child, not having the glitz and the glamour will really show you what people's true intentions and their real personalities are like. And to me, she is just so now. Like, she's just a vile person, and I just don't like it at all. We then see Sutton go over to Crystal's house so they can have a kiki. You know, things are so much better now between them after last season. You know, they started off on the wrong foot with the whole you don't see color situation, and Crystal gathered her real quick in a nice neat bow, and we have not seen that side of Crystal since, and I need for her to bring it back out this season, because that Crystal was about it and routed, and I was here for every second of it. I need for that Crystal to start gathering the girls and stop being a punk puss ass nigga when it comes to these other girls. So they sit down and they chit chat, and Sutton brings up the whole Lisa situation with Crystal and tells her that, you know, she had a slip up or whatever. And in her confessionals, Crystal was like, you know, even though we're in a better place, I still know that Sutton, you know, likes to make little comments here and there that get her in trouble. So I ain't really surprised by this. And basically, she got her eye on Sutton. Then we see Erica and Garcelle meet up to exercise. And Garcelle says in her confessional that she doesn't really know where she and Erica stand after last season. And I was like, you know exactly where y'all stand. Y'all the fuck don't. Y'all sitting the hell down. She don't fuck with you. She don't like your ass. I think that from what I've seen from Erica over these last 2 seasons, Erica gives me cultural appropriator now. She gives me, I want to be down with the culture and use the culture slang and dress like the culture, but deep down below, she don't really see it for black people like that. It's just, she giving me that vibe now. She give me the vibe where she'll call your ass a nigga now. And I just totally look at her differently. Like, she never even really tried to become friends with Garcelle when Garcelle joined the show, and everybody just knew that they was going to be the duo and they was going to link up, and that didn't happen. And it was just really weird. And like I said, it got me looking at Erica totally different. So Sutton, they show a throwback or a flashback of Sutton telling Garcelle in Miami that she don't even understand why she would want to do anything with her anyway. And Garcelle was like, no, I'm just literally going to exercise with her, and I'm going to let her know that it was not okay the way she, you know, attacked you. So I was like, okay, we're about to get new improved Garcelle 2.0 that's gonna start telling these hoes to their motherfucking face how she fucking feel and stop holding the fuck back, because that's what we have been wanting from Garcelle, is to gather these white bitches and stop letting these white bitches gather her. So after they get done exercising, Garcelle and Erica sit down, and Garcelle asks Erica, is she gonna apologize to Sutton for threatening her? And she was like, how did I threaten her? What did I say? And Garcelle was like, you told her, you know, if she ever bring up your name again, then I forgot what her exact words were for her, but it was something to the effect of, you better watch your back or something to another. Don't give me the line. So Erica was like, you know, that could have mean anything. Girl, you know what the fuck you meant when you said that shit. You was threatening her. And I need for you to stand on that. Have several. So Garcelle was like, you know, she was freaked out. She was like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, if it was me, I would have been freaked out too. Erica was like, well, she talks a lot of shit. When you take swings at people, they're gonna swing back. And Garcelle cocked her head to the side and looked at her like, what? Like, what are you talking about, lady? Like, you jumped on her and read this lady the riot act when everybody was talking about you. Did Sutton kind of lead the charge with bringing everybody together to discuss this last season? Yes, but this was a conversation that needed to be had, because people didn't know to what extent this was going to go to or spread into the group with this whole thing with you and this lawsuit. They didn't know what was being, you know, said, what was real, what was fake or whatever. So they were all going to have a conversation, period. So the fact that after you saw the footage and saw that everybody was talking about the situation, some more than others, and you still only singled out Sutton, says a lot about you. You full of fucking shit. Now, that is one thing that I can say that I appreciate about Garcelle, is Garcelle could not hide her facial expressions for nothing. Baby, she will give you that bitch, you crazy, look. In the heartbeat. Then Erica goes on to say that Sutton has said things that have been disproven now in court, and that she never had any of the money. The money was never in her account. And Garcelle looked at that lady and said, oh, okay. And as she was speaking, I had to take this screenshot of her because she was giving me very much deranged. It was like literally watching a woman that was literally about to lose it, and in so much denial and trying so hard to believe the lies that are coming out of her mouth. It was just like, who am I watching? What is going on? This is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I low-key was scared for Garcelle because that bitch was like geeking. So Garcelle in her confession was like, if this is true, why isn't any of this in the press? She did have some little small victory, but it wasn't to the extent of what she's saying on the show. And Erica was like, when someone is repeatedly saying things about you, and Garcelle was like, but weren't all the girls saying things? Erica responds, yeah, but she led the charge. So then in her confessional, the producers was like, how and when was this disproven? And she was like, oh, I don't know, ask my lawyer, Bravo can do their due diligence. And they asked her, well, what about, what the fans and, the viewers have to say? She was like, something or another, they can, kiss my ass or some shit. And it's just like, Erica, like, you're not helping your situation at all by being rude to the producers and being rude to the fans. We're just trying to get down to the bottom of you and your scamming ass husband and y'all scamming ass activities. Like, for you to be so not guilty, you are acting like a very guilty person, because why are you walking around here with a chip on your shoulder like somebody did something to you? Last I checked, you went from a multi-million-dollar goddamn museum, that ugly ass ancient ass house of y'all's, to, yes, a smaller house, but bitch, you still ain't hurting for nothing. You still eating, you still got your glam squad, you still over here dripping in diamonds and furs and designer duds, and you got a pool in the backyard. Bitch, you not hurting for nothing. So why are you so upset when these actual victims out here, darling, are penniless because your husband allegedly done stole these people? But it ain't even no allegedly. Shit, we know the nigga stole the money. It's just, did you still help steal the goddamn money? So how you mad? Explain that to me. And this is why I can't fuck with Erica no more, because how are you upset? How are you fucking upset? Them people still ain't got their motherfucking money, ho. You raggedy bitch, you. And I wish I was on this show so I could cuss her ass the fuck out, because Erica act like she's so motherfucking hard, bitch, because she from Atlanta. Girl, you and your Timbuktu looking ass better get somewhere and sit the fuck down for you meet the right one, baby. So even Garcelle was like, in her confessional, I think Erica is in denial. It ain't no think, she fucking is. So Erica was like, all of those things that they're saying are not true. Garcelle then posed the question, well, if this is not true, then can't you like sue these people for saying all of that? And Erica was like, that's later down the road. Girl, you better hope your ass ain't in the clank while you talking about trying to sue somebody. I thought you was hanging on by a thread as it is, so how you gonna go to court again and be trying to sue somebody? Girl. Erica also makes us aware that she is still legally separated from Tom. They are not divorced, but she's not even worried about getting a divorce right now because of the court case. And that was pretty much the end of that scene. I wish we would have saw Garcelle go even harder on Erica and really hold her feet to the fire while she was sitting there spewing that stupid bullshit, instead of just sitting there giving her the really okay, you sure face. Like, I need for Garcelle to say what it is in these hoes' faces instead of just saying it in her confessional. Like, she getting on my nerves with that now. Like, Garcelle, the fuck? Start like checking these hoes, or are you just not that girl? If you're not that girl, then I would appreciate for her to say that, because it's quite disappointing to watch. We then see Dorit at her house with her children. Her children are in karate practice and she's sitting back watching them. She just got back from London for a wedding, and Garcelle calls her and they catch up. Things are better for them. They're in a better space than they were last season. And this is, mind you, the same day as the break-in at her house. So We then see that 5 hours later, after her phone call with Garcelle, that's when the break-in happens at her home. So it was three guys from what I saw on the surveillance footage. One of the guys breaks the glass door, or one of the sliding doors or something like that in the back of the house. They go into the house, and she says that when she first heard the noise, a door open, she thought that it was her kids walking around coming into her room that night. But when the kid didn't come into her room, that's when she got scared. That's when the guys came into her room. She said they held her at gunpoint, was saying, they was gonna kill her, give her everything that she has, take them to the jewels and the purses and all of this stuff. And she was like, I'll help you. I'll give you anything. Just please don't hurt me. Don't hurt my children. I have kids. She said, she was begging them. And she was like, she'll show them where everything is. So she took them to everything. She said they was gathering up everything in a comforter. And that, they left with a lot of stuff in the comforter or whatever. She even went on to say that one of the guys was saying to one of the other guys that, like, just go ahead and kill her or something to that effect. Now, when I was watching the footage, the first thing that came to my mind was, A, she didn't hear that glass shattering, and B, where was the house alarm? I would think, as being a woman with two small children at home, I would most definitely have the alarm on, because I would be scared to be in a house that big by myself. I wouldn't even be in that motherfucker by myself with just my two kids and just myself. It would be somebody, cousins, or somebody gonna be up in that motherfucker with me. So that to me was like, no. Now, there are some people out there that believe Dorit. Other people would think that Dorit and PK did this for a storyline, because they have not had no significant storyline over the past few seasons, and they needed to do something to keep themselves being interesting on the show. I'm one of them people where as soon as I saw this, I thought storyline. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought storyline, and I still do, because a lot of things for me just really wasn't coagulating. And one of them being a single white woman. Hell, I don't even care about her being white. Not a single, a woman at home with two small children in the big ass mansion by herself, and her husband is all the way across the pond in London, and you don't turn on your house alarm. To me, that don't make no sense. So, the next day, she calls the police. The police come. It's all over the news. What's her name? Lisa, Kyle, and Erica head over quickly. Teddy did as well. Them her homegirls or whatever. Kyle said that when she talked to PK was crying and saying, I wasn't there, and he was just really upset. The kids apparently didn't hear anything. They were oblivious to all of this going on. But I'm like, if they was yelling and saying shoot her and kill her, and how the kids didn't hear that, like, okay, but all right, girl, okay. So then we see Sutton visit Kyle at her home, and Kyle is a wreck, like it has happened to her. Kyle is just like she on the Titanic. So many tears coming out of Kyle's eyes. They sit down on the couch, and like I said, Kyle is in a heap of tears, baby. And Kyle goes on to tell Sutton what happened with Dorit and how distraught Dorit is and everything. And Sutton was like, oh my God, yeah, I understand. I've been putting out fires all day too myself. And Kyle was like, what kind of fires? Like, is she like, what the fuck did happen to you? Like, huh? And Sutton was like, oh gosh, I've got this French designer I'm bringing in from, and immigration is just, baby, when I tell y'all, I hollered when Sutton got to talking about her French designer coming over and having to deal with immigration. That's just like so in dire straits compared to this lady allegedly being held at gunpoint and being robbed with her children in the house and nobody else there. Child, Sutton, wow, that shit tickled the fuck out of me. I felt like Sutton herself was calling bullshit on this whole thing. Like, girl, you believe this? Okay, if you believe it, I love it, because I don't believe this shit. So Kyle's reaction was looking at her like, bitch, are you fucking serious right now? Because Kyle is giving her best Oscar winning performance, honey. So Sutton was like, I mean, I wasn't held at gunpoint. Sorry. So Kyle in her confession was like, what is wrong with you? So Lisa and Crystal, meanwhile, are looking at spaces for Harry's 70th birthday. And Lisa says that she feels weird about having a party after what just happened with Doritos or whatever. Then we go back to Sutton and Kyle, and Sutton tells Kyle that, Crystal might have some people to set her up with. And Kyle says, Erica is dating, but not through an app. And Sutton was like, I don't care, if they're rich, so maybe my qualifications might be a little different than your friends. And she gave Kyle this look like, don't bring that hoe up to me. I don't give a fuck about what that bitch doing. So Sutton in her confessional was like, I have my own money, so I look for character. Unlike Erica, I don't need money to make myself feel better. Maybe she misses her big house and her jewelry and the lifestyle, so she has to look for someone who can provide that for her. And I was like, you better read, Sutton. You better read, but I need for you to read these bitches to their faces and not be a confessional gangster. You and Garcelle. Like, perk up, bitches. But my thing is, Sutton, don't act like you was self-made. You got your money from your ex-husband, darling. So you have several too. You and your goddamn Chico stick legs. Like, sit down. So Kyle was like, I feel bad that, I didn't speak up at Kathy's house. I know she probably left Kathy's house and cried her eyes out. Talking about Erica. And Sutton said, are you serious right now? I'm feeling sorry for her after how she treated me at that dinner. And I agreed with Sutton like that. Like, that bitch, like, decimated her. But that was your fault because you should be able to stick up for yourself. But she literally did decimate her at that motherfucking table. And all y'all sat around with a stupid face on and didn't say shit. And Kyle, like, why would Sutton feel sorry for her? Fuck her. So Sutton in her confession was like, you feel sorry for her because she went home and cried. Maybe. It's not like for sure she cried. Bitch, you talking about some maybe. So Kyle was like, I'm not defending. I know she does this tough bitch persona, which is not her when she feels hurt. Oh, bitch, it's very much her. It's very much her. Shut up. Shut up, Kyle, because that's why you're scared of her. So Sutton in her confession was like, go talk to the victims. Go talk to their families. They're crying. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And I was like, you better say a motherfucking word, Sutton, because who gives a fuck about Erica and her motherfucking feelings while this bitch is still sitting over there having caviar dreams and living out the fantasy that most people wish they could fucking feel and live. And she's sitting over there playing the victim. And it's people out here that are actual victims. And Kyle sitting up there co-signing that bullshit. Kyle, shut your dumb ass the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. You get on my nerves. So Sutton was like, I get in trouble, but the men don't. And I 100% agree with that. Because Erica is pulling a Teresa with that bullshit. You want to get mad at the women, but then you don't want to get mad at the men. So Erica can jump bad with Sutton all day, every day. But she ain't had that same energy for PK and Mauricio. Girl, sit down. They was straight up dogging your ass. Like dogging you the fuck out. So Kyle was like, she definitely was upset with them and me and Dorit. But y'all ain't get the type of fever that she gave Sutton. She ain't cuss y'all the fuck out. Kyle, then later on that night has Lisa and Erica over. And Erica arrives first. And it's, kind of weird between them two, based off what happened last season. And Kyle is on pins and needles because, she don't want Erica to be mad at her, because she a punk pussy ass nigga. So Mauricio walks in and Erica was like, you hurt my feelings, Mauricio. You really hurt my feelings. Girl, Kyle, you better be side-eyeing this bitch because Erica give me the type that'll fuck your nigga and be living in your house and your ass will be out there in the cold. You better watch that bitch because she looking for her next come up and Mauricio got paper, bitch. So while she doing all that, you hurt my feelings, Mauricio. You better be looking at her ass. But I agree with Sutton, like you can give Mauricio and them that energy when they sit up there and clowned your ass and was laughing their ass off at you and your situation. But with me, you want to jump bad? She only jumped bad like that with Sutton because she knows Sutton ain't about their life and Sutton ain't gonna cuss her ass the fuck out. So Dorit then arrives, and I was shocked that she came over there. This is another thing that made me feel like, is this real? Because if earlier that day I had just been held by gunpoint and robbed with my children in the house, I would not be thinking about filming, let alone going over somebody's house to sit up and relive this shit. That wouldn't be my first priority. My first priority would be at home with my kids. First of all, that's where I would be. I just couldn't imagine me going over to somebody else's house to film, to rehash this shit. That would be the last thing on my mind. First of all, I wouldn't probably film for about a good week or two. Like, I need to get my bearings before I even step foot in front of a camera. So Dorit says in her confessional that her husband's assistant and security is with the kids. Well, where the fuck was the security when you was there at the house by yourself with the kids? One ain't equaling up to the next. Like, it's just not making sense to me. Because, like, why would he have y'all in that house with no security? And then why would you be in the house with no security alarm on? Why then would you go to film later on if you're so fucking distraught? It's just not adding up for me at all. Not at all. Unless you that fame hungry, it's just not adding up. So, she then goes on to tell Mauricio and the girls the story again, and she says that she had begged the one of the guys to not take her phone because he was about to take her phone. And she was like, please don't take my phone. Please don't take my phone. Why would you be begging for somebody not to take your phone? Like, I just want them motherfuckers up out my house. First of all, I wouldn't give a fuck about my phone. That was another trigger for me. Like, why is you begging the robbers not to take your phone? And then she says that the robber then agreed and basically was like, turn around and count to 40 and I'll leave it by the gate outside. And then we actually see the person leave the phone by the gate. Who does that? All of a sudden, these are your friendly neighbor burglars after they just went on to say that they was going to kill you. One of them saying, go ahead and kill the bitch. But then they're so nice to you that they're going to leave your phone for you behind. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. It don't make sense to me at all. If anything, the motherfuckers would have took the phone outside and stepped on it and broke it. Like, it don't add up. It don't add up. It don't add up. It don't add up. I feel like this was a storyline that that Dorit and PK drummed up. It just doesn't add up for me. It really, honestly, the fuck does not. And then she goes on to say, when they asked her, was the alarm on? She said no, that she didn't turn the alarm on because her kids sometimes get up in the middle of the night and she didn't want them to like venture off downstairs and that alert the, security alarm to come on. First of all, I've never seen kids. I mean, kids are a different breed nowadays, but most kids at that age, especially her kids' age, is not venturing around a dark ass house in the middle of the night because kids are scared of the dark. First of all. Second of all, who's the parent and who's the child? Why would your kids be up walking around downstairs if you tell their asses don't fucking go downstairs because it'll trigger the fucking alarm? None of it's just adding up. It's really not adding up to me. Like I said, she's saying that they was yelling and all of this stuff at her, but your kids didn't wake up. They slept through all of that. They sleep that hard. It's just not adding up to me. Then when she was telling the story and she was so-called crying, it wasn't not one teardrop came out this lady's eyes. Not one tear the whole time. I was looking. I was secretly begging for a tear to drop. And not one tear fell from this lady's eyes. Once again, Kyle was over there acting like she was on a daytime drama soap. She was crying so much. Child, you would have thought it happened to her. But Dorit did not conjure up one damn tear. And that's another reason why I don't believe this shit. Because if something that dramatic just happened to you hours ago and you can't even cry over it, girl, okay. So Garcelle arrives with a crystal and some sage for her, and she gives Dorit, a really warm hug or whatever. And then everybody's sitting down, and PK arrives home from London. And he goes straight to Kyle's house because Dorit is there. And Dorit, when he arrives, rushes to give him a hug, and they're hugging. And you would think after something that traumatic that just happened to you, and your husband was millions of miles away, and he finally comes home and you rush into his arms, I would have broke down and fucking cried, baby. You probably wouldn't, baby, get me up off the ground. No tears once again. She up here, PK, I'm okay. It's okay, PK. I'm okay, PK. Are you okay, Bubba? Bubba, it's okay. She comforting him. Not a tear. Not a tear from neither one of them. Neither one of them could conjure up a damn tear. And so Lisa then asks PK, she says she's conflicted about having Harry's party. And he was like, in his culture, you don't, not celebrate good things. And then Dorit is seen saying that she want to go home, and PK and her get to the car, and PK was like, oh, I left my phone and my earbuds. And so he goes back into Kyle's house, and she's sitting on the bench, and she hears a siren, and she's like, hurry up and get the phone. Hurry up and get the phone. Oh my God, I'm okay. Okay. Not a tear again, child. I just don't. And then when they was in the house before PK arrived, and she heard a dog outside, she's like, Kyle, oh my God, go see what the dog is doing. What is the dog doing? Oh my God, Kyle. And Kyle was like, my dog always barks. It was just too much. It was just seemed too much. I'm sorry, I don't believe her. I need more evidence. And then on Watch What Happens Live tonight, she said that the people still weren't arrested, which makes me feel once again that this bitch set this shit up, her and her husband, because I don't put shit past these crooked ass people on these reality shows. So that was my review of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I felt like episode 1 from season 12 was really good. It was a really strong episode. Overall, I give it an A. It seems like this is going to be a very, very interesting season. Let's talk down below in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about tonight's episode. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.